Welcome to Dear Book Coach. I'm Stephanie Detlefs, writer and certified book coach.
I'm Terry Thayer, writer, certified book coach, certified focusing professional.
I'm Carrie Savage, writer, certified book coach, and project manager.
This is a friendly advice space for you as you plan, draft, and revise your novel. Usually in each episode, we answer one question submitted by a writer like you with our 3 different points of view, and you get to pick the advice that resonates for you. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We thought that we would talk about what a book coach is, what a book coach does, what that even means, because it's a fairly new industry or a new part of the industry of getting books into the world. And so we thought we would just kind of have a little conversation about that. So we'll start by talking about what book coaching typically looks like, because that's something that people don't know. And we'll talk more about why it's important and valuable and all those things. But basically what happens when you hire a book coach is that on some schedule, you will turn in pages to that book coach, and that book coach will return those pages with feedback, written feedback, and then you'll also typically have a call that's associated with that feedback. And so it's an ongoing relationship. That pattern keeps repeating on whatever schedule you and your book coach have established. So that's kind of the foundation. Book coaches also sometimes offer courses or group coaching. So there are some variations, but that's the basic format of what we all do. So Terry, what do you want to add up to that? Oops, bumped my computer.
Well, one thing that I really love about book coaching is that you can get really deep into a theme or a subject matter, or what we like to call the argument of your book, with support. So you might be writing along by yourself or even with a critique group, but if they're not pushing you to go a little deeper or to think of things about things a little more, then you're not going to have a book that really resonates with people when you get done. So I feel like a book coach is great to give you that extra support, but also to probe a little deeper, to give you those questions that you might want to answer, and to sort of solidify what questions you are asking. That a book coach can help with a lot. Do you find that?
Yeah. I think, that's probably one of the most exciting parts about being a good book coach. I think probably for all of us, I know the discussions that we've had amongst ourselves is being able to work with a writer to craft the book that they are really looking to put out into the world, and helping them understand exactly what it is, really refining their point and their message. And also working with them on the framework for that, right? Because I think a lot of times people come to writing and either they get started or they even make it all the way through a draft, which is amazing, but just kind of feel like, well, I don't know that this really is, there's aspects of it that are working for me and that I like, but I'm not really sure that this is what I wanted exactly. And so we really help writers drill down on that and work with them to figure out how to make sure that they're getting their message across, and helping them understand different aspects of craft and how to do that, answer that fundamental question, and how to take that then and apply it to their book. So I think that's one of the most fun things about being a book coach, hopefully for clients too. I think, those moments that are probably most exciting as a book coach is when you are having those discussions about feedback, or even just, other questions that they might come to a call with, and you just see like the light bulb go on and they just get so excited because it's like we've answered a question that has been eluding them, and now they can put their finger on exactly what they want to say or how they're going to say it. And it really is, it's just so exciting.
Yeah. And yeah, I totally agree. Those moments are the best. And I wish I could sort of capture them in a bottle, because it's like this light bulb goes off on the writer's head and above the writer's head. I just to add on to that, it's really our job to guide the writer, to help the writer come to those realizations and to come to those decisions. It's not like we say, this is what you should do, or this is what makes the most sense. I mean, it's not that we never insert our opinion, but really the goal for us is to provide a safe space for the writer to kind of work out what it is that they're struggling with, and also to bring in that objective point of view. So if we see the writer struggling with something and we see that maybe the issue goes back a couple of chapters and maybe we need to address that issue, you know, we can have the bird's eye view of the project and then help them get to where they understand where they're going next. And I was going to say something because Terry brought up critique. You brought up critique groups, Terry. And I think that I've heard people say like, well, I have a critique group, so I don't really need a book coach. And that may be true for you, and that's fine. But I think that the key difference is that in a critique group, it's about everybody's writing. Everybody's really focused on their own writing and they're giving you their attention, but it's not necessarily their full attention because they're also thinking about their own writing. Whereas a book coach is solely focused on your project at all times. So when we're working on your feedback, we're only thinking about your project. And when we're talking with you, we're only thinking about your project. And so that's a nice factor. And the relationship that we build around your book ends up being like, we're your biggest cheerleader, you know, we're your biggest champion. We love it almost as much as you do.
Yeah, that's really true. And in a critique group too, you might get 3 or 4 points of view, and you don't know which one to take, and you don't know that person, kind of has a bias towards this or that. And then a book coach can be more neutral than your critique group, and can be love that bird's eye view and that step back, and this isn't working and this could be working better. And we say often on these things that writing is about making choices. And so a book coach can really help you make informed to the market, informed to what works in story structure, informed choices about what you're writing about. I think another big thing for a book coach is accountability. Another big plus is accountability. Many of us need deadlines or some kind of accountability, and to know that there's a person waiting for what you're writing and that is going to give you feedback in a structured but gentle manner, is really big. And you have somebody like Carrie that has really good project management skills. You can take advantage of those. But accountability.
Well, I can't believe you beat me, the project manager, to the accountability point.
I knew it was coming.
I know. Well, it's very true. I mean, and on the flip side, I see as a project manager how that helps my clients both in book coaching and in my project management world. I think they're essential. And also in my writing world, I have journalism training, and one of the reasons that I think I would have been okay at it and also it felt like a good fit was because I love to write, but I also loved that structure of saying you need to get this done by X time, or it's not going into wherever it's supposed to be. Just having that, I think, allows your brain to focus in on things in a way where it's just like you're staring at a blank page or a blank schedule, and the possibilities are just sort of endless, and that can be paralyzing. So I also just wanted to jump back really quick, though, to something that, we were saying about critique groups and just feedback in general. I also was thinking about this in the context of like workshopping classes, which I've taken plenty of and had good experiences with. So I don't want to knock them that way. But I think sometimes what you can get a lot of is, oh, I really liked this, or I didn't like this. But there's no articulation behind why. It's either you liked it or you didn't like it, or why you think it's working or not working. And that is something that we as book coaches are very cognizant of. And while we may say, I really liked this, I really didn't like this, or this feels like it's working or not working, we're always going to be able to back that up and explain to you what it is why we've made that sort of assessment of what it is. And we, of course, don't expect you to take every piece of feedback as gospel. You can disagree with us. That's fine. In fact, I think, we'd encourage that kind of discussion because it helps us understand more about you as a writer and more about your project. So, you shouldn't be afraid that, everything that you get from your book coach is sort of sacrosanct and you need to follow it to the letter. No, it's an ongoing discussion between us in terms of what it is that you're trying to do. And what we're focused on is just really making sure that you achieve what it is that you're aiming to achieve.
Yeah, because we want you to get there. Like whatever your goal is, we want you to get there. We don't want it to take 10 years or 15 years before you write this book, or never, right? Like we want your bucket list item to be checked off. And so that's our whole purpose for doing this work, is because we want that for you. And I was going to say too about coming back to the accountability. So there's the physical accountability, right? Of like, I have to get certain number of pages written by next Tuesday or whatever it is. But then there's also an accountability that the coach can offer to what that message that you are trying to convey in your story. So I know when I work with writers on a first draft, my entire goal is that prior to that, we have thoroughly discussed and figured out what it is that they're wanting to say and what it is that they want to have happen in this book, and what the big ideas are. And so then as they're writing their first draft, my job is to hold that big picture idea for them, because as you're writing, as we all know, you get mired in the scene and you get mired in the dialogue, and it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And so the coach's job is to be able to stand back and go, okay, so you're writing this chapter and here's where it's going. And remember, you said that you wanted this change to happen within the characters. So are we on target for that, or are we not? Those kinds of things too. So it's just a different level of accountability. And I was also going to say about taking workshops and classes and things, which I totally encourage. I think it's a great way to meet other writers, if for no other reason, to be in community with writers, and also to build your own knowledge base of craft skills, for sure. But they're not, again, like maybe even less so with critique groups. They are not focused at all on your writing. It's about, here's the big idea. So
Great.
yeah,
I think the main thing of book coaches is somebody on your side, just on your side. There's no
100%.
wavering, there's no professional jealousy, there's no nothing. There's just another person who really, really wants to see your book out in the world the way you want to write it. So that's what book coaching is all about. And that's it for today. We hope this helped you to find an answer to make sense to you at this point in your life, at this point in your book. Remember, you can submit a question anytime at dearbookcoach.com and subscribe to our weekly email. Each month, we randomly choose a subscriber who wins a call with a coach of their choice. You can have that experience we were just talking about. We'll see you next time.